Alright guys, well it's time to say goodbye to the BlackMagic Pocket Cinema camera. Before I send it back, I thought I'd just share a few of my thoughts about working with this camera. Remember, I only had a short amount of time and experience with this, but here goes. First, let's run through the basics of the camera one last time. Here's a look at the options in the menu. The HDMI overlays can be disabled if you plan to capture from the HDMI output, and you can enable it if you want to send the info out to your external monitor, EVF, so you can see things like focus peaking and zebras. Autofocus is done by pressing the focus button on the subject, and it'll slowly come into focus. I didn't find it very useful, so I just ended up focusing manually. Now, focus peaking is turned on by double-clicking the focus button. If you double-click the OK button, it'll punch in so you can get better focus. With an electronic micro four thirds lens attached, you just use the up and down arrows to change the aperture values. So let's talk about some of the cons. I mentioned how small the body is, and if you added a QR plate like the Manfrotto directly to the camera, you'll run into trouble mounting small lenses. So make sure you have a way to kind of raise that up a few inches and make lens swapping a lot easier. Battery life is pretty terrible, everyone agrees. If you want to keep the camera footprint small, just make sure to get a lot of batteries. So you just have to invest in plenty of those. If you're concerned about swapping batteries during a shoot, then look for some external power solutions. The camera's microphone isn't great. Nobody expected it to be. So be prepared to use an external audio recorder. But connecting an external mic like the Rode VideoMic Pro will give you decent sound if you have to run very compact. So the camera's picky about SD cards. I'm not the only one that experienced this. If you don't want this to be a problem, just go for the suggested SanDisk Extreme Pros. That will work every time. So on my GH3 camera, I can select different file formats, and I can shoot hours and hours of video on a single 64 gig card. This BlackMagic, at its lowest setting, measures almost 2 gigs per minute. So keep that in mind. You're going to require a lot of cards if you're going to do a long shoot. And remember, that's at the lowest setting. We're not even talking about RAW. So this camera, because the file sizes are so large, it may not be ideal for every situation. Another thing that bothered me was you can't format SD cards in the camera. More than once, we actually forgot to delete data on the cards, and we had to run back to the car, put it into a laptop, and clear it out. And there have been times where we brought extra cards on the scene, but they weren't formatted to the correct exFAT format, and you can't do it in the camera as well. So you got to be really prepared. Make sure all your cards are ready before you go out on a shoot. Another thing is you can't really tell how much time is left on your SD card. It'll show you your recording time per clip, but there's no way to tell you whether your card's going to run out or not. And we actually ran into a problem where one of our recordings stopped halfway because we just ran out of card space. So there's no meters on here to judge how much time you have left on your cards. The LCD screen is not good enough to be used outdoors. You got to use some sort of sunshade, LCD viewfinder, or some type of EVF. So just keep that in mind if you're going to run around outdoors with this guy. You got to block that sun off of this LCD because it's a little hard to judge exposure. All right, so despite a few quirks, I did put the camera to work for hours nonstop. I was working in direct sunlight and shot hours of footage, and the camera didn't hiccup. It didn't show any signs of overheating, even though it got fairly warm. It never failed because of overheating or anything. So the camera is a true workhorse, and hopefully they're going to unlock RAW later on. It might not be perfect, but once you understand what the camera needs, it is an amazing little camera for an amazing price. It does have 10-bit 422 HDMI out, captures in ProRes natively, and eventually when they unlock RAW footage, you'll have 13 stops of dynamic range and all under $1,000. So no other camera manufacturer has ever come close to offering all of these features in such a small package for an affordable price. And I'm sad to be sending it back so early, but even throughout my time with this camera, nothing I've experienced thus far has changed my mind about actually owning this camera. So I'm definitely excited for my pre-orders to arrive, and hopefully that comes soon. But that's it. If you guys have any questions, maybe I can help answer them. And don't forget to check out the dvestore.com if you're interested in getting one of these BlackMagic Pocket Cinema cameras.